Welcome everyone to tonight's meeting of the school board of Hudson. We'd like to stand for pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first on the agenda is the winter athletics recognitions. Aaron and Tim are here, or just Aaron? Just Aaron.
All right, thanks for having us. We've got a busy room tonight. Good?
Yep.
Okay. Thanks for having us tonight. Winter athletics recognition has been a very busy winter, tons of success, lots of conference championships, a couple state championships, which was a lot of fun too. Great accomplishments across the board. Couple things to highlight, Tim, if you want to go to that first slide for us. In a department, we focus a lot on collective efforts across the board. Top GPA is one of the great things that I like to point out. Believe it or not, it's incredibly competitive. There are multiple kids that would be in this position in a lot of different schools. We've got such a great collection of kids performing at a high level, not only behind me, you know, in their respective sports, but also in the classroom. We had 4 conference champions this winter. That's almost half of the conference in perspective. We had 6 state qualifiers, combinations of teams and individuals, and then 3 state champions, accounting for 5 different state championships, meaning the Red Airs won in 2 events. That's not common. It's becoming a little more common for us because they're cruising along, but they won both kick and jazz, and then cheer and stunt are also back-to-back state champions as a team, and they also had a small group qualify and win state. And then our first ever Big Rivers Conference and Hudson High School girls wrestling champion, Mary Prescott. So tons of high-level celebrations, and I'll let them get to the bottom of what they're gonna talk about sports specific, but I did wanna point out one picture in the middle of that slide is actually something that just is really great. And I wanted to, thank this community for is from top to bottom, young to old. That's a picture of our sectional final hockey game, and there were a bunch of little elementary school, I don't know if it was squirts, but they cheered our team on heading out for the 3rd period at our sectional final game, and we're chanting in the hallway. It was just one of those cool moments reminding you why we do what we do, K through 12, all of our kids coming together, and I know as much as our high schoolers maybe in that moment don't realize it, what those little kids look up to makes a huge difference. So I've got some of those in my house. But great leaders behind me here. Looking forward to getting started with boys basketball.
We started the season rough, but by the end of the year we had a 17-8 record, and we ended up splitting conference with River Falls. We had an overall successful year, improved throughout the year as a whole, and had a better record than we did in the 2024-2025 season.
Some of our accomplishments, we were BRC co-champions. We got our first home playoff game. One player leading the BRC in points, growth in leadership and teamwork, and we hosted a cancer fundraiser night, guarding against cancer. So that was some of our accomplishments for the year.
Thank you.
We had a successful season 2, and we also tied for conference. This year we grew as a whole by committing ourselves with hard work and dedication. We tied the Big Rivers Conference with Rice Lake. We had 2 players get first team All BRC, 1 player get second team All BRC, and 2 players with honorable mention, and we also hosted the cancer fundraising night.
Thank you.
Hudson cheer and stunt had a very successful season with varsity and JV, traveling mostly across the state. We managed to push through a lot of fatigue and had competitive success.
We won the state championship in the large co-ed traditional division. Varsity made school history by being the first ever back-to-back state champion cheer team. And we outscored last year's team with a score of 108.5. And then our JV team also placed 4th at Gem State.
Great.
We had a good year. We got 2nd in our conference, and then we also got 3rd in our section. We had 14 gymnasts, which shows the growth that our program has. This year we got a new practice space at North Hudson, so we finally got a full-size floor. And then we were also able to use this for youth classes through community ed. We hosted a pink out meet, and we raised over $1,000 to donate to rhinos. And then, like I said before, we placed 2nd in our conference, and we had 4 individuals who went to state.
Thank you.
Boys hockey wasn't able to make girls hockey.
Our 2025-2026 season was successful with a lot of team growth and hard work. We continuously improved upon last season and got closer as a team both on and off the ice. We took first place in our Winona tournament, which was really fun.
We had 1 player on BRC second team and 3 players who were BRC honorable mention.
And then also, along with the boys team, we raised over $13,000 to donate to Rhinos Foundation.
Awesome.
We had a very successful season. We advanced in all of our teams to conference, regionals, and state. And we also finished with top results at the highest level of Wisconsin dance. To start out our season, we had 2 competitions that were in Menominee and in Little Chute, which were really fun to go to. And then conference, we placed first in our 3 routines. And at regionals, we placed first in our Division I jazz and Division I kick. And then we also advanced to state in hip hop.
At state, we placed first in jazz and kick, which was really exciting. That is only our 2nd time doing that. And then, like you said, we advanced to state in hip hop as well, which was our first appearance since 2019. And then we also had 1 individual qualify for state. And we also had 16 varsity athletes that were recognized as scholar athletes for the season.
All right, we had a very successful season during both practice and competition. We showed commitment at a deep level through hard work, took this commitment to competition, and accomplished many great things.
We won every single dual meet, and we won multiple invites, including Husky Invite, Bengal Invite, and then finished 2nd at Sun Prairie and Maroon and Gold.
So this is our 5th year in a row winning conference and our 6th year in a row winning sectionals.
We had multiple individuals qualify for state for swim and dive in Waukesha.
Good job.
Boys wrestling.
As a team, we're pretty young this year, so we didn't have as much success in the team area, but we battled through and were able to still keep the kids in. We had, I think, about half. We almost doubled from last year for attendance and stuff, so that was pretty good. And a lot of kids that battled through good in JV state qualifiers. Overall, we had a pretty successful season with the young guys.
Overall, we ended up 3rd in the BRC, up from 6th from last year. We had a 19-7 overall record. We beat multiple ranked teams, which was a huge accomplishment with a young team. 5 all-conference team members and 2 state qualifiers, senior JD, and then sophomore Miles Anthers.
Jeff.
This is our first year being completely independent from the boys team, having your own coaching staff, managers, and captains.
It's also the biggest girls teams we've ever had.
Our accomplishments are we finished third in conference. We were regional champs at sectional runners up. We finished fifth at the individual state tournament as a team. We had 6 sectional qualifiers and 2 individual state qualifiers and placers. Mary Prescott getting first and Kylie Simpson getting 6th. And our top senior GPA is Kylie Simpson.
Maria?
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to say thank you guys for coming and presenting. Some of you have gotten to watch a little bit more up close and cheer you on, but I know you all work really hard, spending multiple hours every day practicing your sports and cheering each other on. And I know you guys work to create a really strong team atmosphere across each of your sports. So thank you for that, and keep doing what you do every day.
Megan?
Mr. President, I just want to echo what Maria's saying. I'm so proud of all of you. Amazing accomplishments, some of you back-to-back state championships, first year for girls wrestling, being on its own, amazing. And I'm also so proud of the work you all do to build your team with younger teammates, the fundraising that you're doing, and that you're doing great in school too. I mean, you're managing a lot at a young age, and I hope you feel proud of yourselves, because I'm really proud of you.
Mr. President, well, Megan said all the great things, but I hope you know, I always want to say this, is that we are really proud of you as a school board and a community. Hudson is proud of you, your school community is proud of you, and you're exceptional young people, so go out there and do great things.
Yeah, I would just add, and I know you guys don't enjoy coming to present here. We enjoy it, and people watching enjoy it, and are just as proud as we are of you. So excellent job, guys. Great winter season. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry, Aaron. Did I cut you off?
I'll just end with a few things. This group was tremendous to work with. They do Captain's Council every 3 or 4 weeks, depending on how the days fall. One of the most engaging groups I've had a privilege to work with. Sometimes you're sitting there waiting for somebody to talk, especially in the morning at 9 o'clock, but donuts will help with that. But they are awesome, and seeing them 4 times throughout a season. One of the pictures is in that top corner. We did kind of a minute to win it right before winter break, and you're not sure how these things are going to go, how they're going to work together. The engagement in that room was a blast to watch, and we actually ran out of time, and we didn't get to hand out any trophies or anything like that. But awesome group, and officials appreciation, and signing days, and lots of great things happen in the winter. So I appreciate your support as well.
Thanks, Aaron.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, you're free.
You don't have to stay for the ride. We won't do that to you.
If you want, though.
Okay, next up on the agenda is the citizens' request to speak. We have 5 of them today, so we'll keep it to 2 minutes if we can. And we'll start out with Kathy Roberts.
I was going to compliment you on something else, but I'm very impressed that you invited them here. I just think that is amazing, because I'm not sure. I have kids that go into school in St. Paul, and they're in public school, and I don't know. I'm going to have to find out if they're. No, I'm sure. So my first reason for being here is to thank whoever wrote this article about the challenge of $9.4 million, because the problem being here in Hudson, we are not close to Madison, and we do not know what is going on. And I had somebody say that to me yesterday in church, that they don't know what's going on. So this is on the front page. I highly recommend that you do it for every other issue that is causing the funding problem. And I just read that you were engaged with the people in the Madison in the office, but we need to be, as a community, writing letters and giving our opinion. And I know you've spoken for us, but I think other people have to speak up. So, so that's number 2. So we need more public information about the voucher system. It started in 1989. I was working then, and it is expanded statewide in 2011. And I got a lot of information of how much it costs the state and Hudson on the internet, but I know that you have those numbers, so I'm not gonna go over them, because I only got 2 minutes. So then, that was one of the problems, and I think it needs to be highlighted, like, on the front page of this, because everybody gets it, right? Everybody gets this? Okay. So the other thing that needs to be highlighted is the levy limits that were adjusted from 1914, when our school was built, Willow River, 1919, till 2009, according to the information that I have. After that, the levy limit was not raised to cover inflation. So we're looking back at what it was happened in 2009, and it's 2026. There's a big gap there. So that really upsets me. So how are we supposed to do that? So I think it's getting the information out for people so that they know what is going on, because we don't. I mean, I do, because I lived it, I worked it, and I even protested in Madison. So, but it's a long drive. So, and then the other thing I want to say is, last time I talked about making community and building these kids up that are losing their schools. I would really hope that you would never put up a for sale sign on either of the schools that you're thinking of selling. I would just cool it. Otherwise, it feels like an eviction. And if you start tearing things out, it's harmful. And when I watched that as that happened when 4th Street went down, that school. So I would really like you just to wait. You may decide that there's something that can be done with those buildings without selling them right away. So be cautious. That's all I have to say.
Thank you.
And thank you again for inviting those kids. I'm so glad. I wasn't gonna come today, but I thought, got it.
Thank you. Next will be Andrea Schneider.
Three boys in the district. I really appreciate the fact that with the walkout, the school didn't act in a more heavy-handed way, but allowed those kids to go out there. I grew up in a country without free speech. I know that all my 3 boys would have been in that walkout. They always had great grades, and I would have really stood behind them to not be penalized in their schoolwork just because they decided to follow their beliefs. My dad, between 5th and 9th grade, his dad was in the war, gone. He was at an elite school. He missed a lot of school and went what people thought up in the mountains. He was hiding people in the mountains to just protect them or whatever, let them heal from whatever Jewish people, American soldiers, German soldiers. As a young kid, he just followed what he believed. And for that reason, I would have always been behind my boys to be, and I think everyone that fought for their rights, so these kids that walked out, fought for their rights to walk out. So I'm glad that you didn't act in a heavy-handed way, and I hope that from the community pressure that you don't consider acting in a more heavy-handed way in the future. Keep it this way and allow those kids to, and their parents to express their rights. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Next is Kristen Hansen.
Good evening. It's been a while, I guess, since I've been up here in front of all of you. Hope you're all doing well. But I am here to inquire about our district's current bathroom and locker room policy. I'm sure you heard that this week the Federal Department of Education opened a Title IX investigation for the New Richmond district for allowing males to use female restrooms. This creates serious safety concerns that sadly many try to diminish. it's really difficult to even have to think that I have to utter these words, that I do not want my daughters to be forced to share bathrooms or locker rooms with males, not even one. Girls deserve their own safe space to take care of themselves and their bodies during the school day without the threat of males intruding. So I'm asking the board to take this up for discussion tonight so that action can be taken to adopt a policy that explicitly provides safety, dignity, and respect for all girls. I don't think this is difficult. It isn't nuanced. It's common sense. Girls' bathrooms and locker rooms are for females and females only.
Thank you, Kristen. And next is Joe Rivera. And just to note, we really can't take it up for discussion tonight because it's not posted, but.
Good evening. My name is Joseph Rivera, and I'm a parent in the district with 2 young children in our schools. On Thursday, February 12th, I emailed you about a planned anti-ice walkout circulating among high school students for the following day. I want to be clear. This isn't about the issues students were protesting or their right to express themselves. My concern is about district policy, student safety, and the need for clear expectations and enforcement. In that email, I raised concerns about the district's communication to parents acknowledging the walkout. Parents were told that students would not be permitted to leave campus, that disruptions would be minimized, and that parents could excuse their children if they planned to participate. In response, the superintendent wrote back stating that he supported that message to families and that the district had handled previous walkouts in the same manner. But the next day, around 150 students, including middle school students, walked out of school and were seen downtown participating in protests and wandering around the streets alongside adults. That was not spontaneous. It was anticipated. District Policy 442 clearly states that disruptive demonstrations and walkouts during the school day will not be permitted and that students remain subject to compulsory attendance laws. Yet the walkout still happened. Parents were told one thing and experienced another. I heard from families who were frustrated that their children were allowed to leave campus without their permission and without consequences. That creates confusion, it undermines trust, and it puts our students at risk. When parents drop off their kids to school every day, they expect them to be safe until the end of the day. The safety of our students is non-negotiable. When students are on campus during the school day, they are under the district's care and responsibility. Allowing that many students to leave campus and walk around through downtown during school hours creates obvious safety risks. Hudson police were present, and I appreciate their support. They were only there because this was a known safety risk. But the reality is this. We got lucky that no student was hurt, and we cannot rely on luck when it comes to the safety of our students. Policy exists for moments like this, when leadership must enforce clear boundaries and set expectations. If a policy exists, it must be followed. If expectations are communicated, they must be enforced. And if safety is the priority, actions must match words. Our students deserve that level of leadership, our families expect it, and our district must do better. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Next is Jeannie Castro.
Hi, my name is Jeannie Castro and I reside in Hudson. I've had 4 kids through the district, K through 12. With respect to our community, our Hudson School Board, I feel, is not acting on the best interest of our students, taxpayers, parents, and the legacy of Hudson by listing our schools for sale. That's including Holton and Willow River Elementary. The properties are a great asset to the community, and keeping our buildings under district ownership helps assure that the residents do not need to fund the building of another school in the near future. The school board needs to have adequate community input when making decisions, a decision like this that affects so many lives. The repercussions of selling these schools would be detrimental to our school district and our community. As part of St. Croix County, our population is growing. There is so much immediate growth that we see happening in Hudson and Holton currently. It is the school board's responsibility to make sure this is done in a way that serves our community positively. Not just immediately, but for the future of our schools. Superintendents come and go, but our school board members are chosen by our community to serve our people. They are responsible to show us the future projections before making decisions. We, the people, get to be a part of this process. Please show us different options, other ways that this can work out by, because building a new school for $50 million down the road doesn't seem like a viable choice. The school district operates on a 25%, as stated in the last school board meeting, by the auditor, who stated we have a healthy budget. And we are operating on 44%. We also have that $5 million operational referendum that expires in 2032. We have funds that provided by our taxpayers for the purpose of this
Jeannie,
operational.
Jeannie, can you
Oh, speed
finish
it up.
up?
I'm done. That was my
Okay.
timer.
All right.
Okay. I just have one more. My request for the school board is to act wisely and give Hudson a sure footing as we move into the future by holding on to our schools throughout the transition for our students, staff, and the next decade to assure that the best outcome for our community and our school district. Thank you.
Thank you. That brings citizens' requests to speak to a close. Next, we'll be going to reports with Shannon with the DECA presentation.
Do I have my DECA folks? Come on up and I'll let you introduce yourselves to the board. Do you want to sit? Yeah, if you guys want to sit, you can. Yeah, and then just push your button to green. Very good, thank you.
Should I push that one too? Okay, hi, I'm Jillian White. I'm a senior and I'm the president of our Hudson DECA chapter.
Hi, my name is Nora Shalego and I'm the vice president of community service for Hudson DECA.
Hi, my name is Molly Schrader. I'm a junior and I'm vice president of membership development. And then we have one other vice president, Evan Schultz. He can't be here today, but he's the vice president of brand management, so he's in charge of social media, t-shirts, that sort of thing. Okay, so what is DECA? DECA is a career and technical student organization that prepares high schoolers for careers in marketing, finance, hospitality, management. We compete 3 times throughout the year. Competition consists of 3 parts. So 100 question test on your chosen cluster, and then 2 role plays, which are mock interviews situations where a student presents a solution to a judge on how they would address different business scenarios. And then there are different clusters that students can compete in. So there's business administration and management, entrepreneurship, finance, hospitality and tourism, and marketing. And then within those clusters, there's more specific events that students can compete in. We introduced ourselves, and then our advisors are Mr. Weinferter and Ms. Sommerfeld, both business teachers at the high school.
All right, so now we're going to talk about community service. We do a couple different community service initiatives at Hudson DECA throughout the year. This is really great because we're able to get a lot of our chapter members involved. So first, we start off the year with Trick or Can on Halloween night, where we have our members go around Hudson and collect non-perishable food items and canned goods from people's houses, basically trick or canning, and we're able to donate them to the food cupboard every year, and this year we collected over 500. And then we also support MDA, which is the Muscular Dystrophy Association. We partnered with the Common Grounds Coffee Shop in the Raider School store and raised about $810 for Muscular Dystrophy Association in October. And then lastly, we also did the Miracle Minute at every DECA conference. Hudson participates in a Miracle Minute that supports MDA.
Okay, so leading up to competition, we like to encourage members to attend our bi-weekly workshops. So these are preparing members for role plays and tests.
Oh yeah, sorry. We're going off and on this one. So first we start off our competition season with districts. So this year that was January 10th at UW Stout. It's usually at Stout. We had 62 competitors, which is a lot. And we had 9 individuals and 2 teams placed first, 6 individuals and 2 teams placed second, and 1 individual and 2 teams placed in third.
And then off of that, I've been in DECA all 4 years. My freshman year, we had 30 members total. That's not competing members. So that was really cool to see. One of my highlights was we had to take 2 buses to districts, which has never happened before. So that's pretty exciting for me. And then we were just at state in Lake Geneva. We got to stay at the Grand Geneva Resort. And then at the state competition, our top 7 in each event get to qualify for the international competition. And at state, we had 2 individuals place second, 1 team place third, and then 2 individuals place 4th and 5th. And then there you also get recognized for top test score and top role play scores. And we had 7 additional medal winners, including finalists. And then 2 of our projects for school-based enterprises were gold certified, which is the highest level you can be.
And then to wrap up our competition season, we are going to internationals next month in Atlanta, Georgia. We have 12 students attending. 6 of these are individual. They're competing individually. And then we have 1 team event that's going to be competing, 2 school-based enterprise teams, and then 2 members are going to be coming with for the Emerging Leader Series. So ICDC is the International Career Development Conference just 25,000 total attendees from all around the world, and this year it's going to be in Atlanta, Georgia. And so, like I said, we have 12 people going, and we have Layla, Jillian, Nora, and Cece competing individually, and then we have Izzy, and then Bella's gonna sub in for Arden for entrepreneurship team, and then me and Reagan for the school-based enterprise, and then Mallory Maria for the other school-based enterprise, and then finally Maggie and Molly for the Emerging Leader Series.
Megan? Okay.
I am so impressed. I think this is going to take you so far in your careers and honestly in your social life too. I'm sure the social skills that you're creating amongst each other is amazing, but I'm super impressed. I wish I would have done the same thing you're doing.
Megan?
I just want to say bravo. Really exciting to hear the growth since your freshman year of high school. I mean, this is awesome. The work you guys are doing, the skills you're learning, the community service that you're doing. I'm just so proud of you, and I hope you are really proud of yourselves. And I know I said the same thing earlier, but I wanted to say the same thing to you too, because this is really incredible stuff that you're doing on top of everything else that you're managing, and hopefully, you know, sleeping and the other stuff that you need to do in life as well. So bravo.
Yep, I'll just say that great presentation, and we wish you the best in Atlanta. Have fun.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, moving on to topics for discussion and or possible action, starting with looking for consent items approval, if we have a motion.
Mr. President?
Yes.
I move approval of the consent items and that the Chief Financial and Operations Officer be authorized to pay bills in the amount of $913,210.60.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Molly. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Motion passes. Now moving on to tax credits, 179D with Nick.
Yep. So we said we'd bring this thing back. In talking with our contractor, it was pointed out to me that on page 23 of the contract, I believe Tim has up on the screen, you might need to zoom in a little bit. I'm just trying to get mine catch up so I can see, because that's a little too small for me. Under 4.5.1 of the contract, they reminded me that if the project does qualify for 179D tax deductions, and if the owner does not qualify for such deductions, the owner agrees to assign the potential deductions to Market and Johnson. And so my mistake was even bringing it to the board, because you guys had already approved it once through the approval of the contract. And so Wanted to make sure that you saw that we would move forward with assigning those, because that's what you've already agreed to in the contract. And the advice of legal counsel was there was nothing wrong with assigning these. So it was in the original agreement. So I just attached the original agreement to the agenda so people could see it. And so no action needed, but just wanted to bring it to people's attention and apologize for my oversight. They pointed it out. Like I said, it's on page 23 of the contract, one line, as you work through it. So any questions or anything from board members?
I don't have a question, but I just wanted to thank you for bringing that, researching that, and making sure that we were doing the right thing and the clarity that you brought to the discussion. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, if no one else, next.
Mr. President?
Oh, Aaron, I'm sorry.
I mean, I didn't sign the contract beforehand because I wasn't on the board, so I just, I was prepared to talk about this in a different way, but I just, I don't like, I'm just hesitant to agree to anything like that going forward, just because I think I just don't want it to allow any perceived private gain from any public projects. I think it looks poorly on the district, and I just wanted that noted.
Okay, very good. Moving on to a first reading of revised policy, is it 690?
So this would typically be Bonnie's to handle, but this is the same revised 690 policy that you guys saw in the work session. Again, the whole purpose of this policy is the original 690 policy referenced a policy that doesn't exist, so there's a red line version that's on the screen. Disposition of real property governed by policy 7300. We don't have a policy 7300, and so this would eliminate that and then follow the recommendation from WASB and their attorneys as to what it should really say, which is, if you slide down there to the bottom, what that looks like. So basically, the state law dictates how we sell property in the district. So the biggest thing is we wanted to clean up the fact that we were referencing a policy that doesn't exist. So.
Any questions? If not,
And
I'm sorry, Megan.
the reason it moved from 5 to 10,000 is because of a change in law, I think. Was that part of it, or WASB recommendation?
This was a WASB recommendation.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, after having that answered, I move to approve the first reading of policy 690. Revised policy 690, excuse me.
Motion by Megan, second by Brian. All those in favor say, any questions, I'm sorry. If none, all those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed say nay. Change is passed. Moving on to North Hudson brick veneer repairs with Nick.
Yep, this is another policy that Bonnie would typically talk about. We talked about this in the closed, or not in the closed session, in the work session. This is repair to the envelope, that's the outside of the building at North Hudson. It wasn't part of the referendum project. It was never going to be part of the referendum project. We went out, we got bids. So the administration's recommendation is, this is part of our summer project list, and since it's such a large project, we prefer to have the board approve it. Advanced masonry restoration in the amount of $208,512.33 for the outside envelope of the building, so.
Mr. President?
Yes, Molly.
I just want to say, we looked over this more in depth at, like we said, at the last work session, but I appreciate that we are, staying up and on top of our repairs as they come along, that we're assessing what we have and seeing where we need to make some improvements in order to retain the value of the buildings that our school district owns, so appreciate it.
Mr. President.
Maria?
And kind of building off of Molly's statement and kind of just acknowledging that we're able to do that because we have the reserves to pay for this outside of and continue to pay for that maintenance. So it's part of why we keep those reserves. So thank you for bringing this and getting the bids.
Mr. President?
Yes, Aaron.
Nick, can you just go over one more time for people who might be hearing this for the first time, why, if this was caught as a flagged item beforehand when we were going through that, but it just wasn't part of the referendum, or?
No, it wasn't caught on the front end. It was when we did the window replacements as part of the referendum project. As they pulled the windows and they started looking back behind there, you wouldn't be able to see without doing destructive testing. that's when they started to determine that there need to be some repairs, especially underneath the windows, and then some other parts of the walls that need to be tuck pointed. And so that's when it came to fruition during the referendum process. We chose to do this outside of the referendum process and not do it as a change order so that we didn't have to pay any upcharges related to change orders and general maintenance fees.
Thank you for
Yep.
explaining.
Mr. President,
Maria, or Molly, sorry.
close, doesn't matter. I was wondering if we could show on the screen just the overall bid, comparison of bids from February 3rd.
It's the top one, yep.
Just to show kind of where the advanced masonry was what was recommended to us, I believe, as being the experts, but just the comparison. So we were gonna be paying net 208 as opposed to 500 and 3,000, so obviously.
Yeah, they ranged
So,
in bids, and
good
so,
choice.
yep, absolutely. So, three of them are very similar. The 208 to 299 would be considered similar bids. The 503 is definitely an outlier. And so, definitely a much higher bid. So, yes, it was good to get 4 different bids, so it wasn't just a, one-person bid. We did get competitive bids on the process.
This isn't gonna fall under energy credits, is it?
No energy credits, no 179Ds.
Wanted to clear that
Yes.
right now.
Yes.
Yeah, it has to be figured out and negotiated beforehand if we're
Yes.
doing it.
I did
right?
see that.
Yeah, good job, good call.
Anybody else? So I'll accept the motion to approve these changes.
I move that we approve this proposal for advanced masonry restoration as presented.
A second.
Second from Maria. Any questions? Move forward. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say nay. That expenditure is approved. Next, an update for litigation related to school closures.
Absolutely. So this is a statement that the school district put together, basically our attorney put together on our behalf after the first hearing that we had last week in St. Croix County Court, Circuit Court. And I'm just going to kind of go through the statement, read through it. It said, today, the Circuit Court held a hearing on the motion to dismiss the motion for temporary injunction filed by Save Our Schools case. The court first took up the service of process issue. The court made clear that the plaintiff's failure to serve any of the named defendants except 2 board members deprived the court of the ability to issue any injunction motion as to those board members. However, because 2 board members were served, the court moved past the service issue and then started to talk through the 2 claims at issue. The court then addressed the plaintiff's plaintiff's open meetings law claim. After extensive discussion with the parties' attorneys, the court methodically analyzed that claim and concluded the plaintiff failed to comply with the several legal requirements of the open meetings law. For example, the court concluded the plaintiff failed to file a verified complaint with the district attorney prior to filing the lawsuit. The court also questioned whether the named plaintiff could even file a verified complaint since there was an individual that had signed the complaint. The court concluded that the plaintiff's failure to bring action in the name of the state of Wisconsin was fatal and deprived the court of jurisdiction. As a result of the errors made by the plaintiff, the court granted the motion to dismiss the plaintiff's open meetings law claim. That means the open meetings law claim is no longer an issue in the lawsuit. While we were prepared to address the merits of that claim, the court determined that it did not even need to reach the merits because the errors made by the plaintiffs. Next, the court addressed the plaintiff's sole remaining claim, which is certiorari review of the board's decision. The court noted that the plaintiff failed to cite any law in support of that claim in any of the briefs that the plaintiffs filed. The court asked the plaintiff's lawyer if she wanted additional time to discuss legal elements of the certiorari claim, again, since she had not done so previously, including whether the court even could decide that claim. The plaintiff's counsel indicated a desire to do so. Thus, the court gave the plaintiff's lawyer 2 days to file a brief citing law in Wisconsin to support the certiorari claim. We will have an opportunity then to respond to the submission. Again, this was a statement that was written on Wednesday. Finally, the court noted that if the court gets through all the elements of a temporary injunction, the court would still have to address the requirement that the plaintiff post a bond before an injunction can be granted. The court noted that the plaintiff must be required to post a bond in the event of the court grants an injunction. The court provided the board with an opportunity to submit our position on bond requirements, and the plaintiff will have an opportunity to respond to that submission. We did submit our position on the bond requirements and what were the economic impacts of a potential injunction. The court is holding a hearing on the sole remaining claim next Wednesday, the 11th at 9 a.m., so that's coming up here in 2 days. We're confident the court will deny the plaintiff's injunction motion and dismiss the plaintiff's sole remaining claim of certiorari as outlined in the legal briefs we have filed. We do not believe the plaintiff can meet any of the necessary requirements to obtain the injunction, and in fact, we do not believe the law allows the plaintiffs to bring a challenge to court to the board's decision to close 2 of its elementary schools. We remain confident that the court will be guided by Wisconsin law and rule in favor of the board in this case. When that happens, we will make sure that the community gets a full accounting of the cost associated with what the district had to spend related to this case in litigation. And so our attorney had put this together for us. We did submit it to the media last Wednesday, and I'm sure it'll make it in eventually. And then you can also, online, I believe, or I'm not sure how you obtain it, you can get copies of our brief that we did on the bond, and then also our response to the plaintiff's brief related to the certiorari claim. So just wanted to make sure people had an understanding of where things are sitting right now. We started with 4 claims originally that were filed in December. 2 of those claims were federal claims, and so it was moved to federal court to deal with the federal claims. Those claims were dismissed. The plaintiffs withdrew their federal claims. It was then remanded back down to state court. One of the 2 state claims have been dismissed by the judge, and the other one is being decided on Wednesday. So that is just kind of an overview of where we are sitting as it relates to the legal proceedings against the district. Because I know there's been people that have reached out to us. There's been different things that have been put out on social media and different things. And so we just asked our attorney to put something together so that we could share that with the public. So any questions for me by the board?
Okay. Thank you very much, Nick. Next would be real estate tours and district property.
Yep, and so, you know, a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, well, actually it was 2 weeks ago, when the board listed the property, listed Holton, we were asked about could a developer or purchaser tour the building. We talked about that, and we were under the impression that it was going to be an individual. It was going to happen from 7:30 to 8 o'clock, so prior to the regular school day, and we didn't realize that they were going to bring 15 people through at that time. It did take place from 7:30 to 8 o'clock, so before the school day started. However, it was a disruption to staff. They didn't like seeing that piece, and we would agree with that. And so since then, we did make some changes related to the real estate tours of district property, that they will not happen before 6 p.m. at night, so after our school age care is done for the day, or they could happen on the weekends. But we've made those adjustments through the feedback that we've gotten from folks. Had we known it was going to be that many people walking through the building, we never would have had them come through before school. We would have pushed it back to after 6 o'clock at night. And so, but moving forward, the other thing that we did also want to clarify a couple things. There were no pictures of students taken. There was no video of students taken. I know there's some of that that's been out there on the internet and things like that. So we verified both with the with our listing agent and with the folks that were touring through. In addition, since then, we did create non-disclosure agreements that if somebody has to come through, we have to disclose certain pieces of information through the due diligence period related to purchasing our buildings, that all of that information is to be held confidentially, destroyed if and when, if they are no longer the buyer for the buildings and things like that. But we have to be able to provide them with pieces of information that aren't always available to the general public. And so we have now any of the new tours, they will be signing the non-disclosure agreements, and then we have those on file, because we did have a couple tours that did occur, I believe, on last Saturday, and they signed those agreements. So any questions from board members?
Brian?
Thanks for that update, Nick. I appreciate it. I'm a Holton alumni and a Holton parent to this day, and I regret that this happened. I think it was some miscommunication, and first, the the board was generally aware that there was gonna be a tour the next morning. I don't think we understood the extent, and that was a mistake. But I wanted to just say sorry to the Holton parents out there. You know, and I think the important thing is, one, no kids were unsafe in this situation, and then two, that we've learned from it, and, you know, we made it clear that it's a red line, but that we're not gonna violate that trust.
Molly?
Thank you. I just want to piggyback on what you said, Brian. We were not under the impression that we were going to have this crowd going through. Never thought that this would have happened. I can only speak for myself, but I mean, I personally felt like, what a fail on our part. What a fail. No intent for harm, no intent to disrupt anybody's school day, but clearly was disruptive. One thing that we have done is, I know Bob has gone to a showing and made it very clear about how we expect people viewing the buildings to act. And I have been there for a showing, and my opinion is we treat it like it's a hospital, and we're all signing a HIPAA agreement. If people come in there, this is private. This is where children spend most of their day. So, hiccup, not the end of the world, but obviously upsetting to people, and we'll do better. So.
Mr. President?
Yes, Megan.
I'm going to do a double piggyback. I don't know if that's a thing. But completely agree with what Brian and Molly said, and I'm also a Holton parent, and I totally understand how this is upsetting for families, and we will do better. Nick, this is a clarification I already know the answer to, but I just want to make it clear. We say after 6 p.m. or on the weekends if there's tours, but if there's a concert or some sort of school event that's planned, we would not be doing the tours at that time.
Yeah, we would try to schedule around all of those things, absolutely.
Okay.
Just, go ahead.
Yeah, I know it is a very emotional, you know, concern with the school, knowing the future. And I'd say we made adjustments. We had 2 board members with each tour since that first one, because of concerns. I will say that we have vendors in our buildings, and these people were with district staff, and we have vendors in our buildings during the day when students are in the buildings. They are not doing background checks either, because they are supervised with staff. So there are some things saying out there that, you know, everybody should have a background check who goes into those buildings. Well, when you're monitored and you're with staff personnel, that is not a requirement. Is that right, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, if you're with somebody, you're not out on your own at all in the buildings. You know, we do have people during the day, vendors would come in and they would go through our, Tracy, why am I drawing a blank on the Raptor system, where they do scan their IDs, and it does go through that way. Yeah, they check in the main office. But yeah, when we have people with staff with them, if they have not been background checked, then they have a staff person with them all the time. So.
And that's needed, whether it's plumbers, electricians, IT personnel. I just wanted to make, and that's not running from what happened at that first tour, because I do agree that was not what we would have wanted. So, okay. Anybody else? If not, I'd accept a motion to go into closed session, and we would be adjourning from closed session, so not coming back to open session after.
Mr. President,
Megan?
I make a motion for the board to convene in closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute 19.851E to deliberate or negotiate the purchase of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session regarding an official offer to purchase Holton Elementary School, and pursuant to Wisconsin statute 19.851E to deliberate or negotiate the purchase of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session regarding the UU property.
Second?
Second from Kate, to do a roll call. Oh, Brian?
Aye.
Kate?
Aye.
Aaron? Molly?
Aye.
Megan?
Aye.
Maria?
Aye.
And Bauman, aye. We are in closed